Shavua Tov. My name's Lisa Hoffman, and I am a member of Baruch HaShem congregation here in San Antonio, and I'm here to talk to you guys about Hamantaschen today. Hamantaschen. Hamantaschen are these little triangular shaped cookies that are traditionally filled with either poppy seed or fruit, and we make them at the time of Purim. And Purim is a holiday that we celebrate from the Bible. It's in the book of Esther, and that's in the Old Testament or in the Tanakh. And it is all about a story of the villain Haman trying to kill off the Jewish people. And of course, anytime that they try to kill us, we win, we eat. So Purim is typically a time of celebration. And again, traditionally we make little Hamantaschen, again, named after Haman, the villain. Now, why are they triangular? Well, some say that they were supposed to represent Haman's hat, a tri-cornered hat. We know that historically that's not true. Haman did not wear a tri-cornered hat. Other people will say that it's Haman's ears, because in the medieval times they would actually cut off the ears of the person that they were killing. Again, in Persia, traditionally that was not something that they did at that time. Others say that it is supposed to represent Haman's pockets, because Haman lined himself with bribes. And so the poppy seeds are supposed to represent the money or the silver that he was lining his pockets with at that time. And we are going to get into all kinds of different types of Hamantaschen today. They can be sweet, they can be savory. A lot of times, again, you can make them out of different types of fruits. The poppy seeds, chocolate. My grandson's favorite is the Nutella. You can put, let's say feta cheese, sun-dried tomatoes, basil in them. You can go ahead and make them like little mini tacos if you want to. So there's all kinds of foods that you can make and you can call Hamantaschen. And we're going to get to that in a minute. So now we're going to go ahead and make our filling first for the Hamantaschen cookies. And this really is not hard. All you need is a filling that is thick enough to actually stay inside of the cookies. So there are some jams that you could try and use, but again, if they're at all runny, they're not going to work very well for you. So this is the apricot filling, and you can see how thick this stuff is, all right? And same thing for the plum. I've already got this stuff made. It's very, very thick. I know it's known as prunes to most of us, but tell the kids that they're plums, so that way they'll eat it a lot better, because most people actually enjoy this inside their cookies. If you are not a cook at all right, you could still easily make Hamantaschen. You could actually just get some cookie dough. All right, this is just very easy. You can roll it on out. I'll show you. We're going to use little 3-inch circles, or just about. You can use a drinking glass to even cut out your cookies if you don't have the tools. And you can just fill it with Nutella. Again, my grandkids love this stuff, the hazelnut chocolate filling here. So it varies. You can even make poppy seed by scratch, or you can actually get the poppy seed paste. However you want to do it, whatever is your ability level as a cook, and what's going to actually have you make this and bring you some joy here in life to do this. So I'm going to show you how to make the apricot filling. Same thing with the plums, same type of a recipe. Again, just very easy. Just going to get my saucepan here. I'm going to use 2 cups of dried apricots. Just going to stick those puppies in here. Quarter cup of orange juice, 1 cup of water, got some orange zest, okay? If you don't know about this, you can actually get dried orange zest at the store in the spice aisle. It's really not hard to make your own, okay? You can have like a microblade, a little grater, different type of little grater, and literally all you do is this, and you have your orange zest. We only need 1 teaspoon of this, okay? So just going to take about a teaspoon of this and throw that on in here to give it some a little bit more intensive type of a flavor. You want half a cup of sugar. You know, and again, just kind of an estimate here, but half a cup of sugar. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this on the stove. And we're going to bring it to a boil. And once it starts to boil, I'm going to put a lid on this. We're going to turn it down and let it cook for about 30 minutes. You go on over there every couple minutes and kind of move the plums or apricots around to make sure that they are actually covered with the water in cooking. So again, this is not really tough at all. Okay, so while our filling is cooking, we're going to go ahead and start to make the dough. And you could do it backwards. This is going to be in the refrigerator for about 3 hours or even overnight, just almost like cutout cookies. Though that this filling also does take time for it to cool. So either way, I always like to prepare. You know, I usually make my filling maybe one day and maybe even the dough that night, so that the next morning I'm all prepared to do this. But again, it depends on what you're trying to do, okay? If you haven't cooked before, keep it easy, keep it simple. If you are more experienced cook, there are lots of great recipes out there on the internet. Or if you're in more of a hurry, there's even the recipes with oil instead of butter. The butter is the one that actually is going to take a little bit more time in your refrigerator, but the butter is what makes the cookie nice and light and crisp here. You want to use room temperature products when you're doing your cooking here for the baking. We want our butter to be room temperature, meaning I can put my thumb in it, leave a thumbprint, but I shouldn't be able to push my thumb all the way through it. In the same way for my egg, I want my egg at room temperature. And it's kind of like cooking for science, all right? So when they're like this, they're going to have more air in them as I kind of beat them, so that the cookies, again, are going to come out more of a light, crispy kind of cookie and not that heavy, dense, tooth-cracking kind of a cookie that you might have. So I have 3/4 of a cup of butter that I've already gone ahead and cubed up. And I'm going to add then 2/3 of a cup of sugar to this. And we're going to cream it. Now, a lot of times I use my stand mixer. So if I'm making a big batch of dough, I'm going to go ahead and use my stand mixer to go ahead and do the creaming. We don't want to overbeat this dough, or it's going to, again, become very tough and heavy. So I wouldn't necessarily be beating a lot of it with the flour in it. I would actually pull out with the sugar and the cream, and then I would incorporate the rest of that by hand. A lot of the recipes will tell you you can use a hand mixer, and that's going to make your life a lot easier too if you have that. I'm actually going to go ahead and do this by hand. With the creaming, again, the butter is pretty soft with the sugar, and it really doesn't take much time to get that all smushed down. Okay, just a little arm muscles here. Okay, so now I've creamed my butter, and you can see that it is light, kind of fluffy. Okay, it has actually turned a little lighter yellow color. And now I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients here, kind of beating them in one at a time. I'm going to add the egg, and I'm going to add the vanilla. Mix that all in. A little orange zest. Again, 1 teaspoon of orange zest. I'm just going to get this all incorporated so it's getting nice and light and fluffy here. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my flour. Now this recipe does call for sifted flour, and it does mean sifted flour here for this particular recipe. A lot of times I can get away without having to sift flour. Maybe you don't have a sifter. There are a couple ways that we can do this. You could use a little strainer like this and actually put your flour through. I find that this is actually one of the easiest ways to sift your flour, or you can use the old-fashioned flour sifter here. Maybe you don't have either one, okay? You can still can still get by with this, okay? So most people actually take their scoop and they put it into their flour bag, and they kind of pull it up. You really don't want to do that. You're going to end up with a very compacted and very heavy dough. So what you really want to do, I'm going to grab a spoon, but is to spoon your flour lightly into your measuring cup, okay? And then you're not going to get that heaviness. So when you're doing flour, you never want to kind of pull it through the flour itself. Unlike brown sugar you do pack with that. So I've gone ahead and I've sifted my flour, and I'm going to go ahead and slowly mix this in. I don't want to over mix this flour. Again, I will end up with a very heavy dough if I do that. And towards the end of this, we're actually going to go ahead and knead this dough. We just kind of want it nice and crumbly here. And I do have a little water that we can add. It kind of depends on the temperature, the humidity in the air. So we're going to add anywhere from 1 to 3 teaspoons of water here as I mix this flour in. And I have found sometimes I don't even need the extra fluid. Flour. Nice clean fingers. We're going to go ahead and knead. You can do it right there in the bowl. You can dump it out on the counter if you want to, but you really don't have to. We're just going to get it where it will want to form into a ball. Okay, so this nice little sticky dough. You want it kind of tacky, not too sticky here. Okay, but we're going to actually make this into one nice big old ball, and we are going to then wrap it in plastic wrap, and we're going to stick it in the refrigerator for a couple hours so it gets nice and hard. Because if we were to have this at room temperature, as you can see, it would just stick to the rolling pin. Okay, so the dough went into the refrigerator for 3 hours and it has come out. I actually usually cut my dough in half, so I have a workable amount of dough. I rolled it out to about 1/4 of an inch thickness on a lightly floured surface. You don't want to have too much flour, or it's going to, again, affect the dough, make it a little thicker, make it a little tougher kind of a thing. Then I flip the dough over, and now I've re-rolled it out to make it more smooth and to make it almost about 1/8 of an inch. You can cook it at about a 1/4 of an inch if you want to, but again, when you get to the 1/8 inch thinness, it makes things just a little bit lighter, crispier, tender for you. And this particular dough, because it's been in the refrigerator, it's going to crack along the edges. This, you're going to find that you may want to, play with it a little bit. That's all just very normal. Okay, so in fact, I didn't even show that part to you because you didn't need to see me struggle with cracking dough here. To cut these out, usually it's about a 3-inch-ish size circle that you can get. This is a cutter that I have for biscuits. You can also just get a glass, all right? So again, these are just about the same thickness here, so you can use this if you want to. If you don't have cutters at home, again, this doesn't have to be like, oh, some gourmet cooking, okay? Make it easy for yourself. So you can, again, get the circles out here, and this is what we're going to be using to make our little cookies. So you can put them off to the side. You can even put plastic wrap or a towel over them to keep them from drying out too much. So I'm just going to go around the circle with my biscuit cutter, going to make the circles and get them all prepped. And then I'm going to have a little helper come in, and he is going to be helping me make the cookies. Pause it. So as we're getting ready to go ahead and stuff our Hamantaschen, I already do have some apricot filling made, but I wanted to show you the one that we've been having cooking on the stove for about a half hour now. So the apricots are pretty soft and mushy, and now I'm just going to go ahead and take the lid off, let this extra water slowly simmer off here until it's pretty thick. I'm then going to go ahead and take a potato masher, or if you got a food processor, even easier, just throw it in the food processor and you can pulse it until it is however pureed you like it. You can make it thick and chunky, or you can go ahead and make it just all the same texture. So we're back, and I have my little helper Asa Gage Hoffman here to help me make some Hamantaschen, right? Yes. And so he's going to go ahead and do the apricot, and I'm going to go ahead and do the Nutella, because I know he just loves Nutella here. And so we're going to get about a teaspoon amount, and we're going to go ahead and put these on our little pastries here.
Can I put this on?
You sure can. So I find it helpful if I just go ahead and get mine all set. And then we are going to fold these up to triangles. Now, just like there are 50 million recipes out there for Hamantaschen, there's actually quite a few different ways of folding here. So I just traditionally take and fold over one edge, and then I'm going to fold over the other one, and I'm going to tuck this one under, or so I should say over, and then this one's going to get tucked under. So I have a little, again, triangle pastry. I kind of pinch the edges here a little bit here. I'm going to put these on a lightly greased baking sheet here. Other ways that you can actually do this is you can fold up the edges themselves into a triangle, and you can just pinch them together like that. Okay, so either way, very acceptable. Okay, it's just again a way that you preferred. Okay, look at you, look like you made a flower.
Yes.
Did you make a flower? Okay, all right.
Yes, I like flowers.
You like flowers. Okay, so we're going to just pinch those sides, okay? Just like that. We're going to make, what shape is that?
A triangle.
That's right, that's a triangle. Okay.
Can I wipe this off?
Here, why don't we put this on? There we go. Okay.
Thank you.
I promise that these cookies will not be used at the church, okay? Okay, again, you can kind of just pinch the sides up here and make them a nice little tender triangle here. Or again, my favorite way is just taking and folding it.
I know my way is to turn these into funny shapes.
I know you like yours. You made rectangles with me the other day, didn't you? Okay.
Look at mine.
Yes, yes, beautiful.
Yes, these shapes are one of, like these shapes, like these ones, like this one is your favorite.
It is.
Yes, like
so you don't want any more than about a teaspoon of filling in these, or they will again expand, get too big, they'll open, and they're just going to run everywhere. So we're going to put these in the oven on 350, and we're going to have them there for anywhere from about 10 to 25 minutes. So watch your oven. You'll know maybe a little bit more on how your oven actually cooks. Depends a little on the filling, but you don't want to burn them. They do go quickly. Some people actually take an egg wash. You can egg wash the outside of this if you want to, or you can take after they're cooked and you can dip them in a little bit of chocolate on the edge, put a little sprinkles on them if you want to get a little fancy. Any and all of that is just fun, because this holiday is about having fun, eating, and celebrating. So we just took these out of the oven, and you can see again that they are kind of a light brown here on the ends, and again they're just going to be super yummy here. Again, lots of recipes out there. You can even add chocolate chips into the dough if you want to. Again, if you want to make a savory, you can even use pie dough, make your life really easy. I did get the recipe for the filling in this particular dough from Tori Avery, ToriAvery.com. She's got quite a few recipes. Kosher.com has lots of them. Again, if you just get online, there's a ton of recipes. But I have always found that Tori's have been pretty easy and have always come out well for me. Thank you very much.